You think you need 805 horsepower to have the most fun behind the wheel? Mercedes-AMG just proved you dead wrong. Today, you're going to discover why the 2026 Mercedes-AMG GT63 Pro is turning heads for all the right reasons, and it's not just about raw power. This is the car that's making enthusiasts rethink what a true driver's machine really means, and by the end of this video, you'll understand why this might be the most engaging AMG ever built. MotorTrend just put this beast through their official testing gauntlet, and the results are eye-opening. We're talking real numbers, real track time, and real-world driving from LA to Vegas and back. Car enthusiasts everywhere are buzzing about what they found. And here's the thing, this isn't your typical horsepower bragging contest. This is about something much more interesting. Here's the situation you need to understand. Mercedes-AMG already has the GT63 S E Performance, a plug-in hybrid monster with 805 horsepower and 1,047 pound-feet of torque. It's the quickest AMG they've ever built, 0 to 60 in just 2.4 seconds. Absolutely brutal acceleration. So, when AMG announced the GT63 Pro with only 603 horsepower and no electric motors, you might have thought they were going backwards. Why would anyone want less power? But here's where it gets interesting, because there's something the hybrid version carries that you might not think about. Weight. A lot of it. What happened? The GT63 Pro showed up at the test track 528 pounds lighter than its hybrid sibling. That's a massive difference. We're talking about losing an entire engine's worth of weight. Sure, it hit 60 miles per hour in 2.8 seconds instead of 2.4. On paper, that looks like a loss. But that's not the whole story. Why it matters? Because you don't spend your life at the drag strip. You drive real roads, you take corners, you brake, you feel the car respond to your inputs, and this is where physics becomes your friend. Those 528 fewer pounds meant the Pro stopped from 60 miles per hour in 96 feet, 6 feet shorter than the hybrid. It pulled 1.14 Gs on the skid pad compared to 1.04, and around the figure 8 track, it beat the hybrid by 0.3 of a second. But the real kicker, when they compared it to the new Porsche 911 Turbo S, a car that costs a fortune and is considered one of the best driver's cars on the planet, the AMG was right there with it. Just 1 foot longer in braking distance, only 0.03 Gs less in cornering grip, just 0.2 slower around the figure 8. And then, something unexpected happened during testing. How it unfolded? The test drivers kept coming back with the same reaction. This thing is fun. Not just fast, not just impressive, fun. One driver noted the GT63 Pro keeps you on your toes with a surprisingly high engagement level. It's not a one-trick pony built just to demolish quarter-mile times. It rewards you for actually driving it. The steering? Perfectly weighted with excellent feel for what the chassis is doing. The carbon ceramic brakes, the largest ever fitted to an AMG sports car at 16.5 inches up front, give you intuitive, confident, inspiring control. Trail braking into corners works beautifully, and the chassis dances between grip and slip before putting power down smoothly on exit. But here's what really matters for you as someone who'd actually own this car: the real-world test. MotorTrend drove this exact car from Los Angeles to Las Vegas and back. That's mostly freeway, the kind of driving that hot-rodded GT coupes usually reveal their annoying quirks: harsh ride, uncomfortable seats, tiring to drive. And then, something interesting happened. The Pro felt smaller than it actually is from the driver's seat. The aggressively bolstered seats, despite being firm and not heavily padded, turned out to be supremely comfortable. The driving position? Ergonomically excellent. The rear-wheel steering made everything from parking lots to sweeping curbs effortless. The carbon ceramic brakes that dominated the track? Just as intuitive on the street, with perfect modulation and zero grabbiness. But the real drama started when they encountered LA's concrete nightmare freeways and the not-so-smooth roads to Vegas. This is where sports cars usually punish you. But the active ride control suspension in comfort mode handled it beautifully. You're not getting beaten up. You're not compromising. The V8's power band and the various traction control settings mean you never feel overwhelmed. You're not just along for the ride in a car that's too much for public roads. The throttle response, the engine and exhaust sounds, they're first rate. You always walk away feeling like you got something out of the drive, not like you brought overkill to the party. The practical side. Here's something you might not expect. This two-seater swallowed 2 medium hard suitcases, multiple computer and duffel bags, plus additional bags of snacks and drinks for a 3-day round trip. Between the trunk and storage behind the seats, it's surprisingly practical. The competition reality. When you stack it against various Porsche 911s and Aston Martin's much-lauded Vantage, the GT63 Pro is a legitimate contender. It makes you revel in your driving and think about how to get the best out of it and yourself without requiring professional-level skills to do so. Here's the key takeaway you need to understand. The Mercedes-AMG GT63 Pro proves that more horsepower isn't always the answer. At 4,256 pounds with 604 horses, it's lighter, more agile, and more engaging than its 805 horsepower hybrid sibling. It's easily the best enthusiast car AMG builds right now. Every single person who drove it came back saying the same thing. Damn, what a badass! The price? It stickers at $216,210 as tested. Yes, it's expensive, but here's the thing. You don't need to load it with options to get the full experience. Only $14,010 of that was optional equipment, and the only must-have is the $1,800 front axle lift system to avoid scraping driveways. AMG boss Michael Shibe says the division is working towards getting even edgier and more extreme as a performance brand. If the GT63 Pro is the baseline, the future looks incredible. This is a driver's car in the truest sense, one that rewards you without demanding you be a professional to enjoy it. Want to see how it compares to the Porsche 911 Turbo S in more detail? Check out our next video where we break down that comparison, and drop a comment below. Would you take the 603 horsepower Pro or the 805 horsepower hybrid? Don't miss what we're testing next.